Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tammy Patzer.
Hi, everyone. This is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited because today's guest is Nikie Piper. And she is part of a great book project called Law of Brand Attraction. And that book hit the charts as a #1 international bestseller on Amazon. And we're just really lucky today to have Nikie Piper with us because not only is she part of that book project, she is the founder of My Awesome Life and Be Your Own Kind of Awesome. And she helps people with journals and other things. And I want her to tell you more about what she does and how she helps everyone. So welcome, Nikie.
Hi, Tammy. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Thanks. So tell me more about exactly what it is that you do. I know that you really work a lot with thoughts and intentions and the law of attraction. So tell me a little bit more about your background.
Yes, I do. I've had a fairly normal background, actually. Grew up in a fairly normal area, fairly normal parents, normal school, nothing outstanding. I suffered quite a bit of depression when I was older, and that really triggered me to start looking a bit deeper at maybe there's a bit more to this normal life that we see. So I started looking at getting a little bit of exercise, getting out in the country, started looking at personal development and how I could change my thoughts from, the sad, depressive thoughts that you have when you're dealing with depression and your lackluster days. Just how really can I start changing this and helping myself, really. So I started looking at personal development probably about 5 years or so ago, somewhere around there. And I went to a few events, and one of the things that I found fascinating really is that all the successful people and all what's seemingly happy people always seem to be journaling and taking notes and keeping books and things like that. So I thought I would really need to have a look at that. So I started looking around for a journal that I wanted to write in, and I couldn't really find anything that followed a style I wanted to take, so headings that I wanted to use. And so short of just having a notepad and writing my own headings in, I got a bit fed up with that. So I actually created my own, and I was using my own template and getting it printed off and taking myself through a process that just developed my thoughts and helped me to feel better. And then that started to develop with getting out and about a bit in the countryside and realising that actually I had a bit of a knack for taking photographs. And then putting it all together, it was like I would really love to be able to just be outside for the most part of every day, taking photographs, writing my journals, and maybe helping and supporting people with their own thought processes and there must be a bit more to life thoughts and what else is out there, and how do I get out of this normal thinking and get myself a little bit further.
So you started out, you had some depression, and so you started to say, well, I better just get out and start looking around. And then, of course, like most of us, we find that when we go on the self-improvement or the self-discovery path, we just start to evolve. So tell me a little bit more about the types of photographs you take and how you have integrated them into this journaling process.
Well, I've always been a fairly early morning person. So I started taking pictures, and I've been relatively lucky in the latter part of my life. I've always lived in a fairly rural location, so getting out into the countryside has been relatively easy for me because it's been on my doorstep. So on my walks with the dog, I started to see views and plants and flowers and different aspects of things that I quite liked, and I started posting them on Facebook. And with those photos, I would also put, a shift in thought perspective. Maybe, if it was a rainy day, you're just guiding people to think that actually just because it's raining, it's not a miserable day. It's how you think about it. And during that process, over a period of months, I got quite a lot of feedback on not only on the comments that I would write, but also the photographs that I would post. And obviously not everybody can get out into the countryside, especially first thing in the morning. And I actually felt that it was helping quite a lot of people, because the comments that I got back about, that's really made my day, or I love your photographs, or I never thought about rain that way before, and all that kind of thing. So then it became a bit of a habit, really just posting the photographs and the little sayings and the quotes. And then somebody said to me one day, you really ought to publish some of those photographs. I thought, well, it's funny you say that. I've been thinking about maybe putting them into a journal, and the idea just went from there. So my ideal time is first thing in the morning. I tend to get up and go out quite early because the energy and the light is just so different first thing in the morning. And generally there's nobody around as well, which is quite nice. And then it's just capturing images that give a taste of the countryside of where I live, but also sometimes getting a bit closer up to specific flowers or areas. And sometimes I do a little panoramic, because I've recently moved and the area is just beautiful. So it's just this is on my doorstep. How just so beautiful, and it's just so nice to be able to share. Because like I said, not everybody can get out in the morning, and I have a number of people that follow me on Facebook that just say, "Where are your photographs?" If I miss a couple of days.
Well, that's what happens. People, they start to follow you, and then you build up a lot of people who follow you and want to continue, because I imagine you're making their day with your thoughts and your creativity with photography. I personally love photography, and I mean, I've been driving along and I'll see something and I'll pull over and jump out. And one time I did that, and I didn't have a camera. I just had my phone, and I got close up on these beautiful flowers alongside the road. And when I got back and I looked at them, these little bugs are like looking up at me. I didn't even know the bugs were on the flower, but you can tell that they're like looking like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what's going on?
So you have created these photography journals. Now, how do you work with people? Are you a coach, a mentor? How are you working with people now with your journals and your photography?
Yeah, I work through, I've got a couple of programs. So I work through the 30-day, which is laid out and as a process really in my journals. So it focuses a bit on yourself as well, because I've found that with a lot of journaling and journaling books and things that you might find out there, they tend to leave out you. So it's all about all this other stuff that you're grateful for. And yes, you are grateful for your house and your life and your shower and, the things that go on in your work and your friends and your colleagues. But quite often they leave out you. So it's really, really important that actually you have a really good relationship with yourself. So I focus a little bit on dealing with the self and improving the thought processes around the way that you think about things. So I think society in general creates the need, the demand that you must have this, you must have this to be happy, and it's always about the next best thing. So I work with people to help them change their thoughts, basically, to just look at the way that they're living, the way that they process their thoughts during their normal course of the day, and start to give a better aspect, or a different aspect, I should say, on the way that they think about things. So encouraging them and coaching them to reframe it. How can you think about this in a different way? Is this trying to tell you something? Could you look at it from the other point of view? And I take people through a process of gratitude and daily journaling. So people can start with me on a free 5-day program, which the link to that is on my website. And I'm also, from Demand, actually, is about to launch a program which is a little bit longer. So it's a 6-month program that will take people on a deeper journey, looking and using journaling and daily gratitude as tools, but also looking at a whole realm of other things around the way that they think about things and how they react, to basically come out the other side just being able to automatically reframe the way that society tells them how they should be.
That's really phenomenal. So you actually can start out on a short 5-day,
just to get a taste, yeah.
So that you get a taste of it. So with the 30-day program, do you find that there's a certain length of time that people need to start shifting their perspective?
Yes, it's usually the first week is actually quite challenging for a lot of people, because they're not used to focusing on the good and also having a spotlight on themselves as well. So that can be quite uncomfortable for people. So getting people through the first 5 days, and then obviously that's almost your first week. And what I tend to find is when I get to probably about week 3 to 4, is then you start to see the shifts in people. And they become quite proud about how they've reframed a situation that maybe, they're caught up in work, and how they've managed to step back from it, or they've seen it from the other person's point of view, or they didn't snap at the person on the phone that was asking for something unreasonable. And people get very proud of actually, I've managed to do this and I feel so much better. And that's what it's all about. It's it's your quality of life. And when you start to realize that you can control the way that you think about things and react to things somewhat different from what you have been, if that's not the way you want it to go, then that is really powerful.
I agree, because sometimes, I think I'm a pretty positive person, but every now and then something will just, strike me, and you have to, snap out of it and be aware of that, of how you're thinking. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the law of brand attraction. In your chapter in the book, what did you focus on? Was it your journaling and photography?
It was more about thoughts, and the fact that you always have a choice in how you think about things. So looking at, whether it's good things or bad things, it's taking those thoughts and understanding that you actually have a choice about how you feel about what's happened to you in your past, because you are who you are through the journey that you've been on to get to where you are now. You can't change that, but you can change how you feel about what's happened in your past. So you can refocus on some things that, I had a lot of debt. It's almost gone now, but I'm actually quite grateful for that process. At the time, I really wasn't. But now it's taught me so much about, the value of money and things, and also, the creditors, how they've supported me in actually being able to repay that back, and just generally giving me a wider perception of the value of money as well. So it's been a lot of hard lessons along that way. I wouldn't borrow a huge amount of money to start a business again. I mean, that's a big lesson. Not without doing more research than I did when I was a bit younger. So some of the journey along my life, it's not being bitter and resentful about, why did you do this and why did you do that, and he did this to me or she did that to me. And it's because you have to take responsibility for everything that you do. So that was more of roundabout, in the law of brand attraction, it was, there is always a choice. You always have a choice, even if at the time you can't see it. And actually, I'm a great believer in we are all on the path that we are meant to be on. We all have our lessons to learn. And it's just a question of, whether we learn them sooner or later.
Yeah,
if at all.
We all certainly are on a journey, that's for sure. So do you find that journaling is useful in all aspects of life? Because you mentioned depression, you mentioned money, you mentioned relationships. Yeah. So how does journaling help you to reframe your thoughts?
It's particularly the gratitude part of it. So, being grateful for the flow of money in your life. So, yes, how many times do we go shopping and we just take it for granted that we can just go and do this and we can just go and do that, or okay, there's a bill that needs paying and we're just a bit, blasé, or we don't pay it, or it's just an energy. And I think, or I believe that you need to give everything the respect that it needs. So if you were treating, for example, the way that we treat money sometimes, if you were to treat a child like that, it would be playing up, wouldn't it? It would be acting up. The child would be acting up. There'd be lack of love and all sorts of issues. And it sounds a bit weird, but I think you need to treat money with the same sort of energy and respect as you would do as if it was a person. And since I've changed my way of thinking about money, and also, I journal pretty much every day that I am really grateful for the money that flows into my life, the money that's coming in and the money that's going out. So I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that I can go shopping, that I can put food on my table. I can up sticks and go on, well, pandemic aside, I can go on holiday, as and when, I've got that ability. And I think it's when you don't have those means that you tend to be a bit more selfish about how you treat your money. Lack of respect, if you like. I know I was. I was very, I don't know what the word is I'm trying to look for, but not as grateful to the flow of it as I could have been. And you say, do I journal about everything? So yes, business, it's gratitude for my business, absolutely. And intentional journaling as well. So, what do I want to bring into my business? Who are my ideal clients? Be grateful for the future things that you want to come into your life. Grateful for the lessons that you've learned from your past, but grateful for the future that's coming the way that you want it to come in. So,
wow, there's so many things, directions that we can take our conversation.
Yeah.
But I do find it interesting. So the basis of gratitude for the good and the bad and the flow, and then the concept of respecting money as if it were a person. Most people, they talk about it being energy, but I think when you reference it to being like a living being, I think that's very useful for people to understand how powerful that concept is, to understand all of the different things. The energy is a living being, and that it grows and changes and feels and responds to how we're treating it or thinking about it. That's a really interesting concept. So can you, again, you said that you have this 5-day journaling. How do people find out about that again?
That's on my website. So that's myawesomelife.co.uk. If you hit the tab that says courses, there's so the 5-day focus on journaling is a free group that I run. People can join at any time. It's the material's already there. I am actually going to be running it live again in about 2 weeks' time.
Oh, okay, great.
Because I think people benefit more, I think, from a live interaction. But the group is still there, and the content is still there at the moment, so anybody can join and start any day. And I will be running it. I need to.
So you also, on the Law of Brand Attraction is available on Amazon, and do you have any other books that are available on your website or on Amazon?
I have my journals, so I've got my guided journals, and I do just plain journals as well with photography on the front. I mean, something like that.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So that's just.
They can get those off your website too.
Yeah. So or lulu.com, and just put my name in the search. It will bring up. I think there's about 12.
Nikie Piper, Nikie.
Yeah.
Piper, like Piper.
yeah, absolutely.
I like that. So if I just wanted to, before I let you go, is there anything that maybe you wanted to expand on or say that we can leave our audience with on a positive note?
It's where do I start? Just be aware of the way that you think about things can become a habit, and sometimes the negative habit doesn't necessarily show that it's a negative habit. So I do talk to a number of people that tell me that they've got quite a positive outlook on life, and when they start going through the program, find that actually they find it really hard to keep a positive outlook on life. And what I'm teaching and trying to get people into the process of is actually always, and it's taken me a number of years as well, so it's a process of always being able to see what you can be grateful out of everything, and how you can turn things round so that you actually feel quite good and everybody else feels good at the same time. And avoiding conflict, which has always been a thing for me as well. So if you're open to starting a journey where you really want to dig deep and look at changing your norm to something that feels a bit more in flow, if you like, or in alignment, then pop along and have a look at my webpage and consider the 6-month program that I'm about to launch. So that will launch in 3 weeks' time. I'm doing a launch offer, which is a very, very good price. It's on the website. There's a link there to join as well. Also, my contact details are there if people want to reach out or just have a conversation. I'm more than happy.
Okay, great. So everyone, Nikie Piper, and I'll put her direct links into the show notes, and know that in a short time she's going to have these different programs available. And go right now and you can start that 5-day journaling program so that you can get a taste of what it's like to have journaling working for you. And like Nikie said, I think sometimes it is hard when you first start to examine your thoughts and your life. I know that even me personally, sometimes I avoid journaling because it's like, well, do I really want to know? So
I also cover looking at resistance and how to deal with that as well.
So again, we may think that we're all positive and everything, but when we really stop and start to take a look, we might find out that, we need to, have a little more gratitude in life. So Nikie, thank you so much. I really enjoyed hearing all about what you're up to. And again, Nikie is an international best-selling author with the book Law of Brand Attraction, and that is available on Amazon. And of course, she has a selection of journals that you can get, and you can find all the information on her website. So thank you so much, Nikie. I really enjoyed speaking with you today.
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone, this is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tammy Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.